Hello guys, and welcome to another article. Today I'll be going over Cinematic King Creek. So let's get started. So let's just get in there real quick. Oh, yep. Get in here. Oh, shut the door. So yeah. Scrolling down here, we got a beautiful image of the SD40. You don't see it right now, so yeah, but the images will be at the end of this video. Union Pacific's King Creek subdivision is amongst the most dramatic and famous scenic railway lines in the American West, and it's coming soon to Trains World 2. Get ready to journey through awe-inspiring, rugged, and remote American West desert and canyon country in Utah, while tackling heavy tonnage and daunting grades with the upcoming Union Pacific King Creek subdivision route for Trains World 2. Masterfully developed for Trains World 2 by Skyhook Games, this upcoming route recreates Union Pacific's famed King Creek subdivision, also known as the King Creek Branch, wildly renowned for its extraordinary and awesome western scenery. The King Creek subdivision extends from a connection with the Union Pacific's Green River subdivision at Brendel, Utah, south to Potash, Utah. 35.8 miles. As created for Trains World 2, the route will also include a 5-mile section of the UP Green River subdivision, east from Brendel to Thompson, what? Don't know how to spell that. I think it's Thompson, Utah. The King Creek subdivision will offer heavy-haul, tough American freight railroading at its memorable and challenging best from Potash to Brendel. The King Creek line climbs nearly 1,000 feet in elevation over a roller coaster profile, featuring frequent grades of 1.2% curves of up to 6 degrees, passage through 7,059-foot-long bootlegger tunnel, and journey amid the towering cliffs of Moab, Bootlegger, and Dragonfly Canyons. The King Creek Branch is a rail line that requires big diesels and a lot of horsepower. And you'll take the throttle of the Union Pacific's potent General Electric AC 4400 CW and veteran EMD SD40-2 diesels, which will be included with the Trains World 2 route. By American Railroad standards, the King Creek Branch is a newcomer. In the late 1950s, plans took form to tap massive potash deposits found along the Colorado River in eastern Utah. By 1960, development of what would evolve into today's sprawling potash mine and processing facility south of Moab and near King Creek were rapidly taking form. And the Denver and Rio Grande Western, or Rio Grande, which I call it, agreed to build a new branch from its main line at Brendel. Grading and construction of the new branch line was constructed to Morrison, Canuckston, and work began in August 1961. Morrison to Canuckston completed its work in September 1962, and D&R GW crews moved in to lay the tracks. The potash mine and facility at the south end of the line began production in late 1964, and the branch was operated by D&R GW as its King Creek branch until the road's merger with Union Pacific Denver and Rio Grande Western was combined with Southern Pacific in 1988 and merged into Union Pacific in 1996. While there have been fluctuations in the amounts of potash being moved over the Cane Creek branch, it has been in nearly continuous use since the 1960s. Remarkably, the Cane Creek line gained a second purpose and source of extensive tonnage in 2008. Moab had long been the site of a uranium mill which closed in 1984, leaving approximately 2 million tons of dirt tailings behind. While these tailings are only modestly radioactive, the risk of their erosion into the nearby Colorado River required eventually reclamation. Under the auspices of the United States Department of Energy, a burial site for the tailings was developed at Brendel, and trainloads of the contained soil began moving over the length of the Cane Creek subdivision to Brendel. These unusual rail movements, nicknamed the Dirty Dirt Trains, are expected to continue until approximately 2028. Given that both the potash and contained soil tonnage involves carrying loads northbound, the climb from Potash and Moab to Brendel requires plenty of horsepower. The upcoming Cane Creek subdivision for Trains and Will 2 will take you into the very heart of Utah's legendary desert and canyons country in scenic settings that are awesomely realistic. Aboard superbly modeled Union Pacific GE AC 4400 and EMD SD40-2 diesels, you work heavy tonnage up and down daunting grades, handling switching at the sprawling potash mine and facility in Moab dirt loading site. Travel along the historic Colorado River and pass between the famed sandstone Corona Arch. In addition to its GE and EMD diesel locomotives, the route will include 2 types of hoppers, an open hopper and a tank car. A realistic selection of 12 scenarios and a challenging 24-hour timetable that will fully test your skills as an engineer. Stay tuned here at Dovetail Live, and we will be further exploring the upcoming route and its distinctive features and challenging operations. Getting ready to journey through awe-inspiring, rugged, and remote American West Desert and Canyon country while tackling heavy tonnage and daunting grades with the upcoming Union Pacific Cane Creek subdivision for Trains and Will 2. Under Utah's towering sandstone cliffs and along the historic Colorado River, a loaded potash train rolls north behind a trio of UP GE AC 4400s. And I must say, AC 4400, it's pretty cool. It's actually amazing. And yeah, get some like grain hopper sort of styled cars. There's like a gray and a tan one. But yeah. The Cane Creek sub extends from connection with the with UP Green River sub at Brendel, Utah, South Potash, Utah, home to a massive potash mine and facility. On the upcoming Cane Creek sub route, UPGE AC 4400 CWs are drawing covered hoppers through the potash loader. Note screenshots despite content while in development. Like I said, you'll see the screenshots at the end of the video. With the mine at Potash in the distance, A potash train is heading north on the King Creek branch and curves along the banks of the legendary Colorado River, recreated in superb detail. The GE AC 4400, together with the UP EMD SD40-2, will be included in the route. Simply put, the King Creek branch passage through Bootlegger Canyon between Potash and Moab is among the most rugged, remote, and awe-inspiring rail scenes in all of America. A trio of UP EMD SD40-2s in the railroad's timeless yellow and gray livery are grinding north through the extraordinary canyon. The scenic wonders along the upcoming King Creek sub for Train Sim 02 are nearly countless, but amongst the most famous is the sandstone Corona Arc, south of Moab. During construction of the King Creek branch in the early 1960s, one of the most challenging tasks was the boring of 7,059-foot long Bootlegger Tunnel, located immediately south of Moab. In an engineer's eye view, a northbound potash train, powered by UP SD40-2s, approaching the tunnel southbound above, and clears the tunnel and arrives in Moab below. Moab, Utah had long been the site of a uranium mill which closed in 1984, leaving approximately 12 million tons of dirt tailings behind. UP now transports these tailings to Brendel for burial. At Moab, UP AC 4400 6911 is on the point of a dirty dirt train, preparing to depart for Brendel. And it looks like we get the Peninsula Corridor cars back too, with the Peninsula Corridor hoppers. That you saw with the UP GP38. Maybe the GP38 will be a layer for this route. North of Moab, Utah's desert country become more open, but nearly towering cliffs nonetheless make the line scenery extraordinary. At 7 Mile, Utah, site of a passing track and rock loading siding, UP SD40-2 1685 and kin have empty covered hoppers bound for the potash mine in tow. At Brendel, also known as the Crescent City, the King Creek branch connects with UP XD and RGW Green River Sub. UP SD40-2 1749 is leading a train off the main line and onto the branch at Brendel above. Then short time later, bridges a dry stream basin below. Like I said, you can't see screenshots, but I can, so yeah. But they'll be at the end of the video. At Brendel, with UPGE AC 4400s, fore and aft, an empty consist for a dirty dirt train prepares to depart for Moab. Due to switching requirements in Moab, the dirt trains regularly run with units on each end. The upcoming King Creek sub route will include a realistic selection of 12 scenarios and a challenging 24 hours timetable that will fully test your skills as an engineer. On the upcoming Train Sim 02 UP King Creek sub, a route masterfully created by Skyhook Games, dawn's rich light is just breaking as UP trains meet on the main line at Thompson, Utah. The upcoming King Creek sub route for Train Sim 02 will take you into the very heart of Utah's legendary desert and canyon country in scenic settings that are awesomely realistic, and it's coming soon. make sure you're following at Transworld on Twitter and Facebook to make sure you don't miss the next article. And screenshots are still being worked on, and screenshots display RM stuff that are still being worked on. So yeah, they're not done yet, but they will be soon. But yeah. Anyways, that will conclude this article. Like they said, stuff's still in development for this route, and stuff is still being worked on. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a like and maybe subscribe to the channel. If you guys did enjoy and want to see more, maybe subscribe to the channel. If you do, you'll become part of the awesome squad and first 100 subscribers club. But anyways, I will see you guys next time.